Yo, my people, welcome back to the Pitch Perfect podcast, another episode of Trafford Talk. And as you can see in the title, we're just going to take some key points from the Brighton defeat. We're going to talk about Ugarte and how big of an impact and signing will he be for our team and season. And last but not least, we're going to preview the Liverpool game. What things could we expect? What things to possibly look out for? So without further ado, let's cut right to the chase. So for those of you who got to watch the game or got to watch my post-match review of the game, I mean, you guys saw it all right. We were poor. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no toys about it. We were poor. The performance was unacceptable. But but I'm not gonna come here and rant because look, it's Wednesday now. I've got a chance. I had a chance to look back at the game, to look back at little things that you can tend to miss out while watching the game in real time. So this time is usually the perfect time to actually analyze games, to actually have a look at games in a bit more depth because the emotions away. You're watching it, emotionless. You're actually watching it to see what mistakes were there, what things you possibly missed out when you're watching in real time. So, um, without taking any more time, we're just gonna go into the key points, my personal key points. So I took three big key points from this game. So, key point number one is that guys, guys. I hate to break it down to you. I hate to say it to you, but we're not as good as people think. We are not as good as people think. I know I've seen a couple of season predictions, season previews where people have put us in the top four, top three, even, you know, and stuff like that. Like we had a good window, don't get me wrong. Like I'm happy about the window that we done our business off the field superb. But on the pitch, we're still seeing the exact same problems that we saw from last season, that we've been seeing for the last two seasons and under this manager. So, guys, don't get me wrong. I completely understand. Last season we were very injury bare. Like last season we had games where we didn't even know who was gonna make the 11. You had games where we didn't even know who our back four was. Our back four was rotating so much. We were switching back for so much because we just didn't have any availability of players. So I can understand that in this new season, when one or two players are back from the injuries, you're seeing one or two players that you didn't see for majority of last season. The guys can kind of come back, right? That hype can kind of come back. You start believing again. And the way we ended the season with the FA Cup, you low key in the back of your head kind of believe like, oh, could we potentially, So I get the gas. Don't get me wrong. I completely get the gas. But you know what? I'm happy that this happened sooner rather than later. That we got a reality check immediately. You know, I'm happy that we got a reality check because the game against Fulham for a start, the performance was not great. I'm not saying we got away with it, but on another day, had Fulham been more effective, more clinical, we probably lose the game. So the performance was not great, and then to back it up again with this game against Brighton with another dead performance, it was bound to happen that we are gonna lose. If we had won this game, anyways, these poor performances were gonna catch up with us eventually because this is not sustainable, guys. Playing like this week in, week out is not sustainable. We saw this last season. We saw exactly this last season. We were playing dog shit, getting away with one or two games, but then in the more important games, we were getting found out, we were getting destroyed because it's not sustainable. You cannot go in a 38 game season and play like this and expect some sort of success and expect something. It doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like that. Eventually you're gonna get found out one way or another. And we got found out in game week two. You know, so I know people might be disappointed it's early, but you know what? The sooner the better. To be honest, rather we we do this right now. We stop giving all the fans false hope and stuff like that, and we set the reality check right now instead of had we won this Brighton game. People were gonna come talking. Oh, could we possibly challenge for the title? I know those kind of conversations were gonna come. I just know this fan base, and you know Like I said, the footballing gods never lie. The footballing gods never lie. And look, it was a reality check. Us as fans, we needed, to be honest. We needed this as fans, this reality check. So, guys, we're not as good as we think we are, to be honest. Um, Going to the game, you know, I had the prediction of a score draw. Brighton on paper are not as great as they were last season. They had a couple of big losses. They lost people like Zerbi, Pascal Gross, and they didn't manage to replace these big names for this window. So it was always gonna be interesting to see how we got to set up against them, considering the game against Fulham. And the manager went with the exact same team, like I said, went with the exact same team. You know, performance was the exact same as it was against Fulham. We go 1-0 down to Danny with Danny Welbeck goal. Defensively, like I said in my post match review, I was not mad at the defense. Defensively, we were okay. I don't think we were shit. I don't think we were getting bent over defensively. But the two goals, you have to look at the defense. To be honest, you just have to. The first goal, wow, everyone's just ball watching. Players just ball watching. No one is taking responsibility of a man. No one is taking charge of the defense. Everyone is just ball watching, and then before you know it, Danny Welbeck is free, open net. There's nothing the keeper can do about that. So that's the first goal. Both our goals, both the goals we considered were very similar in the fact that no one's taking responsibility in the back four. No one's taking responsibility like, oh, I've got this man, he's mine. Like everyone is just ball watching. Everyone is just somewhere. They're all somewhere. And like I was saying on football talk, like this thing of this club, yeah, like whenever we concede goals, like no one wants to take accountability. No one wants to be like, oh, hey, look, that was me, my bad, my bad. Everyone is just sideways, just huffing and puffing, hands in the air, like, nah, bro, come on, man. Come on. A big club like this, that's not the standard. That is not the standard. So both goals were identical in the sense that back forward, just ball watching, you know, getting buff back forward, dragged out of position, ball watching, not taking responsibility of the man that is around them in the box at that certain time, and then paying the price for it. So, that's the game. The game is the game, right? So that's one of the takeaways. We're not as good as we think. Going up front, we were very toothless. You know, don't get me wrong, Bruno and Mason Mount interchanging as false nines was never going to work in a million years. It was never, ever going to work. So that could be part of the reason why we were toothless. But a lot of the signs from last season were creeping in, were showing in these last two games. We look poor in possession. We look like we could have been there for the next, I don't know, 180 minutes, and we're not going to get a winner there. That's how we looked. Things started picking up a bit after the substitutions we made, bringing on Xerxes and Garnacho. That's what it brought a bit of energy, a bit more urgency into our play, into our team. But nonetheless, it wasn't enough to sit down and say that we deserve to get anything out of the game. So that's one of the key takeaways. The second key takeaway is that on off the pitch, we've had good business, like I said, with the recruitment of guys like Dan Ashworth, Omar Berada, and then the players that we brought in. You know, off the pitch, we've had good business. This is probably the best business we've had off the pitch that I've seen, in a very, very long time as a United fan. But the big problem with this, though, is that despite all these signings, despite all the business done off the field, I still don't know what direction we're trying to go into. I still don't know what the philosophy is. I still don't understand. Like the players that we've got, Xerxes, the Lig, Mazraoui, and Lenioro, and Nick Ugarte now. All these are all good individuals, good players in their own right. Don't get me wrong. But looking at these players like on their ones, I don't think it doesn't give me an indication as to what direction we're trying to go to stylistically doesn't give me an indication as to, okay, you know what, we're gonna try and be a bit of a hybrid. We're gonna try to be, a possession based team on certain moments, and then on other moments we're just gonna sit back and be more counter-attacking depending on the situation, depending on the tempo of the game. Like it doesn't give me that sense of knowledge. So good signings, good players, all good players in their own right, but it still gives me a lot of vibes that we're just going to another season of freestyling, no philosophy, no style of play, no idea. Just guys, you guys are good players. Get on the pitch, find your way. Whatever happens, type of thing. That's how it looks to me. Seriously, that is how it looks to me. So, which is really sad, because the season has just started. It's only game week 2, guys. It's only game week 2, and I'm speaking like this, like that. That says a lot. So these are good players. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, the message is still not clear yet. The message is still not clear. On the pitch, the message not clear. Off the pitch, the message not clear. So where do we go from here? Seriously, where do we really go from here? To be honest, so like that's a big takeaway for me from this game, because we saw Xerxes, we saw Delict and Mazraoui all play. Look, because they're all individually good players, they will always look somewhat decent, even without a style of play. Like good players always look good, irrespective of the environment. But the problem is that despite the fact that they are good players, you know, they still look clueless in that system in our team, because there's no system. It almost feels like they've just been told, guys, this is your CV. You know how good you are. You know you've played in these games, you've played in these leagues. Just go out there and enjoy yourself. Go out there and do your thing. Top. That's how I feel like is what the message has been given to these players, because these players seem to be they just seem to be doing their own thing. It doesn't seem to me like instructions have been passed through to them. They're just playing how they play because they're good players, because they can play. So it's really really sad to see, but um let's just hope for slight improvements. Let's hope for more positive results. But um, I'm not gonna get too gassed for sure. This season, I'm definitely not gonna get too gassed with a lot of things. Um, because I know how upside down football can go, how upside down this team can make you feel sometimes. So yeah, and for the third and final takeaway, sorry, from this game is Marcus Rashford. Hmm. Yeah, Marcus Rashford. Mr. MBE, Marcus Rashford. Member of the British Empire. Marcus Rashford, Mr. MBE. Let's talk. Let's talk, people. Let's talk. So, what's the future with this guy now? What really is the future with this guy? Because these first 2 games, he's looked a shadow of himself. He's just looked exactly the same as he did last season. Considering like he was not part of the England team for the Euros, he went up with the squad for preseason. During the Euros, he was just doing self work, individual ball work, and all that stuff. That you be seeing on the Instagram. You know, so he had time out to do all that stuff. You know, being away from the England squad, not being part of the Euro squad. You expect that to be some sort of a motivation. Like, you know what? I'm gonna try my best to fight to make the England team for the next tournament. Like it's such a disappointment. I didn't make the tournament. I didn't make the team for the tournament. But you know what? I'm gonna fight this season. I'm gonna fight next season. I'm gonna play as best as I can so I can make the next England team. Type of thing. You feel like you'd like to think that's the pride a player, a player in that position should have. A player on 300 bags should have. But with him, it just doesn't seem like it, bro. It just doesn't seem like it. It's only game week 2, but it looks like he's down tools already. And I don't like using that term on players, because sometimes I feel like it's very unfair to use it on players, but that's how it looks. It looks like he's down tools already in game week 2, guys. Game week 2. Come on, come on. You know, I'm already seeing the same body language, the same reactions to things as I'd seen last season. You know, the little strutting, the little this, and all that stuff. I'm already seeing it in game week 2 of the new season. Like, this don't make sense, guys. This does not make sense. You know, like, this is a big talking point. This is a guy that's on 300 bags, 300 bags. You know, and he's being let off lightly. He's being let off too lightly. I don't know what this fan base have for him, but he's being let off too lightly. He's meant to be the poster boy. He's meant to be the star man of this club, of this team. That's the push he's getting from the club. He's meant to be that guy. You know, he's meant to be our Kylian Mbappe type of thing. But he ain't playing like it. He ain't acting like it. And so I don't understand, like, this 300 bags that he got. Like, it's not even warranted. You know, he's not done anything in the last 4 or 5 seasons to warrant being on 300 bags, to warrant this star boy label that he's got, in the club. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, what infuriates me is just that we're seeing this from Rashford. These stinky performances, game in, game out. And this season has just started, and then somehow Jadon Sancho is nowhere to be seen all of a sudden. Like, what happened? I thought him and Ten Hag had repaired things, had talked things out, and things were all good. And now all of a sudden, Jadon Sancho is nowhere to be seen. Jadon Sancho was with the squad for preseason, and then now all of a sudden he's nowhere to be seen. He can't make an appearance. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, make this make sense to me, guys. This don't make sense. Like, sometimes seeing the way this club does things, it baffles me. Because Jadon Sancho, like, how much worse would Jadon Sancho be on the left hand side? To be honest, I know now we got Garnacho, who's looking a bit all right. Who's looked better than Rashford anyways, for certain. He's given us a bit more energy, a bit more bite. In the attack, but this is the Garnacho that came back from the Copa America. I know he didn't play much in the Copa America, but like, I would have warranted giving Garnacho an extra week of holiday, because he was part of the Argentina team that won the tournament, and giving Sancho a chance. Sancho was being played at false nine on preseason and stuff like that, and then first 2 game weeks, he's nowhere to be seen. Like, make it make sense, But then the energy is different with Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Jadon Sancho is still getting this hate for some reason, but Rashford can pull out stinkers, can pull out 0 out of 10s, week in, week out, and yet somehow it's all forgotten. We had players here that were on big money: Martial, Paul Pogba, Casemiro now on big money, that they're not allowed to even have a bad performance. As soon as they have a bad performance, oh, he's washed. Oh, he's the Premier League game for him. All these kind of comments, all these kind of things. These people be coming out saying these kind of things. But Marcus Rashford, somehow, how he always avoids criticism. It baffles me, bro. It baffles me. Because, to be fair, maybe it's because he's man born and bred. He's one of our own. That type of thing, bro. Maybe that's the reason why. But this is unacceptable. A guy in 300 bags, that's been at the club. He's not a kid no more. He's been at the club for years now. He's been on the first 11 for years. He's this poster boy for the club. So the performances ain't showing for sure. So I can't lie to you guys. Rashford needs to pick up form ASAP. He needs to pick up his performances ASAP, or else he might potentially have to say bye-bye to that left wing position. He might just have to, because he's not looking the part. He has not looked the part at all. He's not looked the part for a while now. Even the 2 seasons ago, when he bagged the crazy number of goals, performance-wise, his performance, if you watch in depth, his performances weren't great. You still saw holes in his game that you still see right now. You still saw a lot of red flags that you still see in his game right now, running into blind alleys, knuckle balling crosses and stuff like that, shooting at every time he cuts in, and all these kind of things. But what helped was that he got the goals, so that kind of masked a lot of the shit performances he had. But last season, no goals. Now we're just seeing the performances on its own now. This season as well, no goals so far. We're just seeing the performances on its own. So I can't lie, guys. The Rashford thing needs to be looked at seriously because I feel like it's gone under the radar for far too long, you know. But as sad as it is to say, having someone like a Rashford, we can't win. We can't win a league having Rashford as your starting left winger. I don't think so. So that's my final takeaway point from the Brighton game. Um, I'm gonna jump onto the Ugarte news now. So it was announced by Fabrizio Romano yesterday that Ugarte was here to go. Here we go. Signed, seal, confirmed. So I think right now he's probably going through a medical. He's going through all the all the photo shoots and shirt reveals and stuff like that. So Ugarte at the theater, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Um, big win. We needed that. We needed reinforcement in the midfield. To be honest, I wasn't fussed whether it was Ugarte, Fofana, or Sandro but I just wanted someone in the midfield, anyways. We definitely needed someone in the midfield. We needed depth in the midfield. We really like in midfield. So Ugarte, I'm really happy. I'm really happy we got him. Now the question is, how big of an impact will he be for our team? Obviously, we're gonna have to wait and see. But his style of play, Ugarte, the kind of player that he is, he's a very tenacious player. Uruguayan, South American. You know how South Americans are. They've got that tenacity, they've got that aggression, the passion. It's in them. They've got that dog in them. They born with it. You know what I mean? So he's got that. He's almost like a, how do I say it? I don't want to compare him to Casemiro, but he's almost like a younger version of Casemiro. Tenacity, aggressiveness, interception. Reading the game, but he's a bit better on the ball than Casemiro is. So he's a younger version, a more agile version, and a better on the ball version of a Casemiro type of thing. I'm not saying it's Casemiro. I'm not saying it's better than Casemiro. I'm just saying the traits that he got, like I would compare it a lot to Casemiro type of thing, if you get what I mean. So I'm gassed. Will he be ready for the game against Liverpool? I don't think so. Today's Wednesday. The game's on Sunday. He probably might be able to make the bench, but I wouldn't expect him to start anyways. But yeah, Ugarte, gassed. I expect him to have a good season. I expect him to have a solid season. I don't know why at PSG it just seemed like it never worked out for him out there. But look, no complaints. He's still young. Age is on his side, so I'm happy. And we didn't pay too much money for him as well. We didn't break the bank for him. As we've been doing the last couple of seasons for players, paying over the board for them and then struggling to offload them when the time is right. So I'm happy. I'm happy with Ugarte. And now, last but not least, Liverpool. So Liverpool are on the back of a 2-game win streak. Ipswich and Brentford, both 2-0 wins. So Liverpool are going into this game in good form. Luis Diaz, Mo Salah looking lively, Jota. They're looking electric. They're looking like it's still Klopp in the dugout. They're still looking. They still got that energy. They still got that fire, that tenacity, that hunger, the press. They still look good defensively. They look solid. Van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, they still look good. So we can't take anything away. I know that it's the slot machine at the helm now for them, but that doesn't change anything. This Liverpool team is still the exact same Liverpool team that was on the club. So they're a very good team, and at the moment, style of play, stylistically, it's a bit of a hybrid right now with Arne Slot's methods and Jurgen Klopp's methods. I wouldn't say that Arne Slot has fully washed away Klopp's methods yet, because you're still seeing one or two things that Klopp wanted his players to do still being done. Still being done in those two games. And then you're seeing some things that Arne Slot wants the players to do that is being done. So right now it's still a mix of both systems. You know, it's just the muscle memory from the top side, I guess. When you've had a manager coach you guys for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, the message is not just gonna fade away just like that. So Liverpool are a dangerous team, very very dangerous team. Um, Predictions. I predict the game. You know what? Yeah, just because it's Liverpool. Last season we were very good against Liverpool. We drew against them twice, and we beat them in the FA Cup. So in the 3 times we played against them, we didn't lose once. So I feel like we there is a conversation. We could potentially, because this is at Old Trafford, and the fans would be demanding for a reaction and stuff like that. I feel like we could pull a shocker. We could pull a shocker and a 1-0 a 1-0 victory or something like that. I feel like the players should be riled up enough after the disaster class against Brighton. These players should be riled up to get us a performance, to get us a result against Liverpool. If they aren't, then they should not even be in this club. If they aren't, then guys, just know that this isn't right. This is enough. Just write it off. But that being said, though, Liverpool are gonna bring the heat. Just expect that Liverpool are gonna bring the heat. Liverpool are gonna come all guns blazing. Now, I feel like the first 10 minutes, first 10, 15 minutes, Liverpool might just sit back, allow us to have the ball, just kind of gauge the tempo of the game, see what we're trying to do, see how much of a threat we might be to them when we have the ball, and then as more as the game grows on, I feel like they will gain a bit more confidence. If they see that we're toothless on the ball, they might start gaining a bit more confidence, regain possession of the ball, regain control of the game, and then try to pick us apart off that. But the big thing is that we cannot allow Liverpool to score first, because if we do, hey, it could be long. It could be long. That's Liverpool for you. If you concede one goal before you know it's 3-4 nil, that's how they are. That's how quick they are in all their attacks. So we cannot afford that. We cannot afford to concede early or to concede first. But I'm very much hopeful. I'm not expecting a win, but I'm hoping that we do get a win. I mean, in this kind of game, you want to go with a positive mindset. But unfortunately, in these last 2 games, it makes it hard for me to go into this game thinking, you know what, we could play Liverpool off the park. You know, I really wanted to be so shameless, and go into this Liverpool game saying that, you know what, Liverpool, you guys are dead food. We're gonna smoke you and stuff like that. But man, this team doesn't even give you the luxury to do that. But yeah, my predicted starting 11 for the game: Onana in goals, standard. Dallo right back. Oh, Mazraoui right back. Sorry, Martinez and the Ligt to start in the center back, and Dallo in left back. Kobe Mainu and Casemiro in the midfield too. Bruno back in the 10. Bruno has to be back in the 10. I swear, if I see Mason Mount and Bruno again, oh, I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, Bruno in the 10, Ahmad on the left. Oh, Ahmad on the right, sorry. On the left, oh, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one now. Do you give Rashford another chance, or you just go for Garnacho? You know what? I'm going to go for Garnacho on the left. I'm going to go for Garnacho on the left. And then in the 9, Xerxes. Xerxes has to, when you're playing against Van Dijk and Konate, you need a focal point. Hey, ban that Bruno false 9 bullshit. Not against Liverpool. No, you need a focal point. And having someone like Xerxes, who's a presence himself, who can play in between the lines, who can drop deep to the midfield, run in behind, that is perfect against a team like Liverpool. He can do both, so that is perfect. If we need him to hold the ball up, and just bring others into play, he can do that. If we need him to just run in behind, he's got the pace for that. So I think we definitely need to start Xerxes for sure. But that's my predicted 11. I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Manchester United win. But anyways, people, thank you for watching and tuning into the video. That's the Liverpool that's the Trafford Talk episode done there. So I will see you guys for the Liverpool post match review. Again, guys, thank you. We appreciate all the support. We're seeing all the comments, all those who are commenting, following, sending this to their friends, family. Hey guys, we appreciate it so much. Um Richie and Lawrence are gonna be posting their chat with Chelsea and Ghana Inside videos and match previews later on this week. So guys, stay tuned for it. And like I said, guys, I will be back and I will see you guys for the post-match review on Sunday afternoon.